Okay, here we go. The location of the Forrest Fenn treasure. That's what this video is about. So here we go. We're going to start up in this area where the Levee mural is in Pueblo, Colorado on the Arkansas River. It's a Guinness Book of World Records site. It's murals that go a distance, I believe, of approximately 3 miles. This is where the beginning of the poem starts. Also in this area is an area known as the Arkansas River Walk, which back in the 1920s there was a flood that altered the course of the Arkansas River, and it's a historical landmark area also. What better place to start the treasure hunt in the poem than a historic location? Over here in this other vicinity of Pueblo, Colorado is Air Force Base and our airport, and for sure individual like Forrest Fenn, being a pilot, would have flown this route up and down, back and forth, would have been very familiar with this route, certainly easily to come up with a poem. So anyhow, viewing this as an airplane pilot and using this as directions to an airplane pilot, we'd say we call this Where Warm Waters Halt, which is the first clue in the poem. Now I'm going to go through these series of clues in a manner that I discovered a saying from the Petermann coffin, and the saying goes, I am one, which becomes two, that becomes four, and becomes eight, and then I am one again. Forrest Fenn is into Egyptology, and I believe he would know such thing. He may have actually even seen the Petermann coffin up close and personal. I don't really know if he's ever been to Cairo, Egypt. I've never talked with Forrest Fenn. So anyhow, that's a series that I'm going through this. And this does bring us to the Forrest Fenn treasure location. So we begin at where Warm Waters Halt. Take it in the canyon down, which is Route 25. It's also a canyon area. There are mountains off to this side here. The next one would be 4. Put in below the home of Brown. Home of Brown would be right here, Springer, New Mexico, which is the Brown Hotel, which is a historic hotel in the area of Springer, New Mexico. Then from that point on, we would jump to just heavy loads and water high, which over in this area here, C, which would be heavy loads, which would be Uraca Mesa, and waters high, which would be Aqua Fria. If you research those names, you will find that Aqua Fria means cold water, and Uraca means heavy loads. So what do we do from there? Well, we have to repeat the process as the poem has said. So if I can pull up another map here, we will repeat the process. Now, we ended off at Uraca Mesa and Aqua Fria, which would be off in the distance over here. Down below the Uraca Mesa is the Uraca Dam. And we start our poem again. Begin at where Warm Waters Halt. That's where the dam is. Take it in the canyon down. Put in below the home of Brown. I've identified here Philmont Brown houses. Right here is a brown building. It's a house-type building. And over in this direction here are many Philmont buildings that are brown in color. This is the Philmont Boy Scout Ranch that surrounds this property that we're going to. So we put in below the home of Brown. Heavy loads and water high is a water tank that's easily found on Google Maps, which is on this property here, the Casa del Gavilan. And that's where we're going. So we have to start the poem over again now that we have that identified. So we'll go to this map right here. Now this map here, this is fair use for what we're doing with this map, even though this map has a copyright on it. Under the fair use rights, we're going to talk about this map. David Emery was a person who made this map. Forrest Fenn had claimed that an architect an architect designed his poem? Well, David Emery designed this map. David Emery is an architectural photographer. I had the pleasure of meeting David Emery because I went to the Casa del Gavilan just recently. So anyhow, we got to start our poem again. And here's where we start it, right here where the warm water is. Begin at where warm waters halt, which is right here where this waterway halts at the Highway 21. This time we're going to go through the poem with the clues 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, now that we found our property location. So here we go. Begin at where warm waters halt. It has identified gate lock. And take it in the canyon down. Right down the highway. Not far, but too far to walk. Put in below the home of Brown. This is the entrance gate to the Casa del Gavilan, to the driveway. And if you look up here, here's your home of Brown, a stock pond. Now, from there it's no place for the meek. That's talking about going up this driveway known as the Narn Road. This driveway cuts across the Philmont pasture, which quite often there's a herd of horses there. For sure it's no place for the meek. And for sure you wouldn't want to be walking up there with when a herd of horses comes trampling through there. Where are we at next? The end is ever drawing nigh. The driveway's ending. There'll be no paddle up your creek. Your creek is Uraka Creek. It's a dry creek is what it is. It comes from, if we go down here, from a dry lake. And this is a dry creek. Your creek. No, certainly you don't need a paddle in a dry creek. And again, just heavy loads and water high. That brings us back to the tank house again. Now, if you've been wise and found the blaze. Now at this point a person would be going to visit the Casa del Gavilan. And if they were wise and found the blaze, I was wise and found the blaze. Actually, I found the blaze before I even went there. I found it by looking through pictures and determining what I would possibly find there. And in the back parking lot, there's a couple of street lights. And those street lights run in a series. And at the end of the street poles that hold the lights, if you follow it down to the end, at one time, right here listed, a casita. And the casita is also a home of Brown. It no longer exists. On March 2nd of 2006, there was a forest fire. And that forest fire is believed to have originated from the casita. It was believed to have been started by electrical issues. I discovered that online. It was quite difficult to find that, but after many hours of looking, I found information about the casita, and that's where I discovered that there was a fire. There was an old newspaper article, and it showed the casita building. And the casita building was a home of Brown. And it was a home of Brown because the immigrant workers that worked at Casa de Gavilan stayed in there. It was their home. And they were those people were referred to as Browns because of the color of their skin. Now there's 3 home of Browns on this property. The casita, the Casa del Gavilan is an adobe building. The casita is gone. It's since been knocked down. The tank house is a Brown house. It's a metal building that houses the tank and is a house of Brown. Now when a person goes here and does a treasure hunt such as I did, they'll quickly learn that there's many, many locations possible for that treasure to have been hidden. Especially if it was hidden sometime between 2006 and let's say 2009. And the reason for that is because of the forest fire, all the vegetation would have been gone. That fire was, I believe it was 1,200 acres or 12,000 acres. I don't really remember the number off the top of my head. but it was a large area that got burnt up in that blaze. That blaze would have taken the vegetation right down to the dirt. And if the treasure was hidden in that short time frame, well, it'd be hidden pretty well right now at this point. It certainly would. I didn't find the gold. I'll tell you that. I didn't find the treasure chest. I know you're probably saying, well, gee, this jerk got us to watch his video and he didn't find the treasure chest. He lied. He didn't find Forrest Fenn's treasure. Well, I did find Forrest Fenn's treasure. This is the treasure that many people talk about. They talk about going out with their family, going to a remote location, and going out and enjoying nature, going out hiking, going out climbing, looking at nature. At the Casa de Gavilon, you can go out and look for antlers that are dropped, and you can pick up antlers. Matter of fact, the day before I got there, Mr. David Emery had discovered an antler in one of the pastures. So this is the treasure that Forrest Fenn had spoke about. I personally believe the chest with the gold is located here. Will Forrest confirm that? I really don't know. But I can hardly wait to find out. So I guess that's all, people. If I can get this video to shut down. Doing this all backwards. If I can find the stop button.